All right, we're starting to see the severe weather taking shape through parts, just the western sections of the area. Scott County, Indiana, under a severe thunderstorm warning until 3:15. This is for 70-mile-an-hour winds. It's observed. The tag here saying considerable damage and also a tornado possible. Looking at the latest radar here, yeah, we've had a lot of rain today. I still think we're going to see severe weather. I expect a tornado watch to be issued soon. You know, before we go into the whole situation here, is number one was my concern was wind. And we're going to get that regardless if you're under a severe thunderstorm warning or not. We're all pretty much under a high wind warning south of the Ohio River, okay? And then, you know, the secondary threat would have been tornadoes, and we're kind of watching that carefully right now. And then the third threat was flooding. So we're now starting to get to that time of day where, you know, we've talked several times where we thought the severe weather would start. So I will say there's an area I'm watching that was originally probably not going to be as impacted as much. Now they're going to. We're going to get to it here in just a minute, but I want to show you, first of all, I want to zoom into this storm, this line of storms, and you can see it stretches from Mitchell, Indiana, down through Louisville, and this is racing off towards the north and east at about 70 miles per hour. I'll say that again, 70 miles per hour. It's going highway speed. So you'll see these storms. We're going to put a track on these, moving off towards the north and east at 70 mile an hour, okay? And you'll notice the line goes to about Louisville and then points off towards the north. So if I put a track on exactly where this is heading, it looks like Madison by 326, Greensburg by 337, Versailles by 339, Connorsville by 401, Cincinnati by 209, Covington by 411, Hamilton by 416, same as Fairfield, and then up towards Richmond, Indiana by 417. So, you know, originally these areas were not going to be impacted as heavily by severe weather. So if you're watching right now, you probably want to let people know. I know we got a lot of followers in southeastern Indiana watching a line of destructive storms moving towards your area, okay? We should get a new tornado watch here soon to, cover that situation. So we should see that soon. And as soon as I get that information, we'll pass it along right here on the live feed. So just want to kind of analyze a couple things too, because the storms have not moved in really to the area just yet. So I've got a chance here. And I want to mention something to you. We're already seeing 70-mile-an-hour winds outside of thunderstorms to our west, okay? So just because you don't get severe weather over the next couple of hours, do not come at me on social media saying, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. My number one thing was damaging winds, and we're still going to get that. It may not come as a thunderstorm. It may be gradient winds, but damaging winds for sure are on the table here as we head into the rest of the afternoon and into the evening hours. For example, Bowling Green just recorded a 70-mile-an-hour wind once again for, that's just gradient winds. That's not, that is not severe storm winds. You can see right now on the radar, we're seeing on the radar right now just, that's the track of those storms. And I want to go over to Storm Analyzer here quickly and just show you that, kind of keeping an eye on a couple storms here. And these storms that, are starting to fire more and more here over the past few minutes on the radar. These are not severe, but there could be a little bit of lightning with these storms from what I'm seeing here on the radar. Oops, sorry about that. Let me fix this. These storms near Madison, we got to kind of watch because these could definitely bubble up here over the next little bit. But I'm actually just trying to get this fixed here. So if we have to analyze some of these storms, I don't have that banner all over the screen like I've had here lately. So there we go. Okay. We'll go ahead and fix this. Fix some things on the spot while we're doing it. So I'm watching two areas here. This one near Madison, not severe, and just this area here near Cincinnati, nothing severe at the moment. But just watching these storms, these downpours, you can see normalized rotation. We've got some funkiness going on up near Harrison. It's not rotate. It's trying. Look at that. It's some backwards rotation there. It's nothing to be concerned about, but just kind of looking at this here on the radar, it's kind of interesting to watch. See that? Moving off towards the north and west, kind of. So you can just see here on the radar that little bit of spin we've got going on. So as these storms pivot off towards the northeast, we can't say, oh, Chris, it's rained all day. It's not going to happen. These still could produce brief spin ups just for the fact that I actually want to show you these storms too. That this is all kind of happening here pretty quickly. Let's go to the other radar. But you can see near Lexington, these are going to track up to the north and east. These are developing and getting healthy here in the last few minutes. So it looks like to me that we're going to have to keep our eyes kind of on this area here and this area here and this area here as these pivot off towards the north and northeast. So, several bands here of storms we're going to have to keep our eyes out on. Okay, let's do this. Let's go ahead and we're just analyzing some of this stuff. I want to look at dew points for. Actually, let's look at temperatures. So look at this. Earlier this morning, we were cold. It's 60 in Owenton. It's 50 in Madison, 48 in Walton, 51 in Georgetown, 54 in Maysville. You can see that the model data is pretty much spot on to that area of where we would see that warmth and it would happen quickly. And it is. Let's look at dew points and see what it's doing there. Oh, okay, it's 3 o'clock. It's a little behind, but look, Owenton's at 58, 50 in Georgetown, 50 in Madison, 48 in Walton, 45 in Versailles. So that limited area of moisture is doing its thing. So it looks like we're on set here for some storms. And you can even see it's a very narrow window here, but there's just a smidge bit of clearing on the satellite imagery. So you may see a peak or two of sun here over the next hour before the potential here for severe weather. So back to the radar view we go. Looks like everything's kind of in play. It's just, how long is this line to our west going to, until it, how long is it going to make it until, it kind of runs out of juice here. But it does look, and I'm just going to put this on a loop here because I'm curious. Kind of looks like, it kind of looks like that line's trying to back build toward to the south a little bit. But I want you to notice this is what the back edge of the line looked like at 215. Here's what it looks like at 3. You can see those individual cells trying to fire. So to me, it looks like the back edge of this line is increasing, and we're seeing an area here just south of Louisville that's trying to get going. So you've got two little areas here that we need to keep close eye on because it is strengthening. No warnings yet, but we're watching it. This is the area for the 70-mile-per-hour wind gust. Tornado possible on here. There's not a tornado currently occurring. Damaging wind potential here on this storm that is currently getting ready to move into Scott County. I want to go to Analyzer, and let's see. Let's go to Analyzer real quick, and let's look real quick. Let's go over there. There we go. Let me put that full screen. And by the way, the Storm Prediction Center did take the enhanced risk of severe out of for our area, and now we're under a slight risk. But I want to show you, down here, these storms that are developing near Elizabethtown, they're producing 60-mile-an-hour winds here on the radar. So these storms here, they're small but mighty and could be producing a warning soon in these areas. So don't discount these smaller storms that are moving through the south of Louisville, because they could become warned within the next little bit. All right, so okay, so still watching that tornado, or severe thunderstorm warning down to the south towards the Louisville area. That storm is getting ready to move into Scott County, Indiana here shortly. You can definitely tell here there's some very strong winds, and we're going to sample some of these. You can see on near the Salem area. And by the way, these winds have been observed. You can see that there could be up to 80 there. In Washington County, 82, 80, near 80 in Clark County. Let's see. Let's go down here into Floyd County and look at some of those winds. You can see 70, maybe near 80 there. So very strong winds that are moving through Floyd, Clark, Washington, and now moving into Scott County. If you know anybody in the Scott County area, I have the chat up. Let me know what you're seeing there. If you're in Scott County, you know anybody in Scott County, the storm's getting ready to approach I-65, and that's why we're on here. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect till 3:15 for Scott County, Indiana, for 60-mile-an-hour winds now, and the threat has been observed by the National Weather Service. So the severe wind threat has come down per the National Weather Service. We may need a tornado warning for Trimble County. Let's go to Analyzer. You can see green means go here. Let me look at the velocity. Yeah, so we're close to potentially needing a tornado warning for the Trimble County area. Just looking at correlation coefficient, you can see velocity here. Okay, you can see velocity. There's the reds and greens coming together in Trimble County. Here's normalized rotation. You can see a little bit of rotation here. This is just northwest of Bedford to the southwest of Milton and Madison. Let's get a track on the storm moving off towards the north and east at probably about 70 mile per hour, 60, 70 mile per hour. We'll just go in the middle. But this storm is rotating. I'm going to actually have to take this back a little bit. There we go. This storm rotating, moving off towards the north and east at about 65. So that puts it in Brooksburg. Let's go full. Brooksburg by 317. East Enterprise by 332. Dillsboro by 336. That is the area of rotation that I'm watching. I'm surprised there's not a special weather statement on this storm. That area has some rotation with it in Trimble County. So some rotation in Trimble County. We need to be aware of that going on right now. Currently, no tornado warning on that storm. So that's an area I'm watching. Analyzer showing rotation with that here at the moment. Other than that, that's the only area of rotation that I'm watching. But severe thunderstorm warning has been, kind of down. And actually, there's a couple areas here, near Madison. Be interesting if anybody near Madison on here. Be interested to see what you're seeing there. So let's go back to Analyzer, and you can see there's a couple areas of spin here. Area spin here towards near Madison, okay? Near Madison, near Milton, and then one near Bedford. So a couple areas of spin showing up here on radar. So we got to watch these carefully. Gosh, getting a lot of reports of power outages near the Bowling Green area. So, that's what's to come. The gradient winds are to come here with this storm. Okay, so no warning yet on this storm here in Trimble County, but we do have a track on it. Here's the track. Let me actually update that track because it's now a little bit off to the north. This is weak rotation, moving off towards the north and east. Let me make sure I get the track right. Milton by 312, Madison by 312. That's a flood warning. We're going to pass on that. Cross Plains by 328, Dillsboro by 336, Morris Hill by 340, Aurora by 343. That's an area of rotation, once again, that I'm tracking on radar. It's weak, but that's the area that I'm watching for the potential for, a weak tornado, possibly. And I will say, I was watching these storms south of Louisville because they're going to be the storms that kind of, move towards the Cincinnati area, and they are increasing. See? Boom. Just like that within the last little bit. So we've got to watch those storms too. The southern edge starting to increase. But, concern here and near the... And they're kind of still a little wrapped up, but still concern here near Madison for a little bit of rotation. Don't really see anything towards Owen County, which is good. But just about every one of these storms today will have that chance to spin because there's so much shear in the atmosphere, and that was our concern today. So, some people are saying that the sun's starting to shine. Yeah, once you get past this line here near Madison, you're going to get a quick break, and you'll see a little bit of sun for a short period of time. And you can see, as I put that on in a full loop there, there's that area of dryness between Louisville and Lexington, and it's a very brief period of dry time. And once you start to either A, get back in the clouds, or B, see a strong gust of storms move through, then behind that you have very strong gradient winds that could be 60, 70 mile per hour, producing widespread damage and power outages. That was our number one priority before the storm threat. The second threat was the tornado threat. The third threat was flash flooding. Haven't had any flash flooding other than to the west. You can see all the flash flood warnings that are currently in effect in those areas. Good news is the rotation on those storms have come down, but you'll still see on Analyzer between Rexville, Versailles, Osgood, pretty good little downpour there. Brief gusty winds. Be interesting to see what's going on up there. Nothing severe at the moment. You can see the very strong winds from Sellersburg approaching Charleston, Otisco, up through Nab. Very strong winds. Strong winds near Louisville right now. Don't have any reports from that area. And it looks like they have expired the severe thunderstorm warning for... Yes, it's been expired. Okay. So it looks like, the severe weather threat here at the short term has ended here. We'll continue to watch these, but, you'll see this, which looks like, these are showers showing you how strong those winds are right there. Look at that. That's crazy. Some very strong winds getting ready to move in. So we don't get any severe. Be prepared for winds. These are going to be some very intense winds. Power outages are likely. Damage is also a good bet too. So you want to take these winds seriously as they approach here in the short term. So, okay. The severe thunderstorm warning for Scott County has been allowed to expire. There are currently no warnings now in effect from looking at the latest radar. The line of storms that has been severe, it has really weakened. We'll see what happens with it. We've got a brief period here over the next hour, hour and a half to have severe. If we don't get it, that's great. But the big concern behind this line, these two lines, is the gradient winds. That's the number one thing I said last night. Number one concern was the winds, the high wind potential with this event. Tornadoes were second, third was flood. So be prepared as we go through the evening for very substantial winds. Damage likely, power outages likely. So let's get prepared now. You've got a little bit of time left. And then we'll touch base here shortly. If we get another warning or we get a watch issued, I'll hop back on. But for right now, I'm going to hop off and we'll be back on if need to.